UFC Talk. TJ versus Cody 2 was a dope matchup that ended pretty much the same way as the first fight, with TJ Dillashaw knocking out Cody Garbrandt. I didn't know who to go for in that fight. I wouldn't have been mad, I think, if any of them won it. Like, if it went Cody's way, I wouldn't have been mad, especially because it would have set up a trilogy, and those guys, I feel like they are going to have a trilogy anyway, like sometime in the future maybe, when Cody like builds himself back up. But TJ is just, it's dope to see greatness, right? That's why we like the Ronda Rouseys and the Conor McGregors and the John Joneses and the Demetrius Johnsons and the Cyborgs, Daniel Cormier's, etc., etc., etc. And I was excited at that point because it was like TJ won. There is definitely going to have a super fight with DJ, Demetrius Johnson, once Demetrius Johnson beats Henry Cejudo for the second time, which did not happen. I was so let down by that fight. Demetrius Johnson, Mighty Mouse, aka Mighty Mouse, who broke the record for defending a UFC championship for the most than any other UFC champion. I believe the number was 12 times, maybe 11 times, but I think it was 12 times, 13 times, something like that. It's like in that range. He fought against Henry Cejudo for the second time, and Henry Cejudo looked great in that fight. DJ did not look himself in that fight. And then come to find out, he like broke his foot during the fight. He had like 2 other injuries as well, and maybe that's why. But regardless, Henry Cejudo did his thing. Henry Cejudo is a Olympic gold wrestler from the U.S., not from Mexico rather, but in the Olympics for the U.S., if I'm not mistaken. And he beat Demetrius Johnson, which was surprising. Demetrius Johnson fucked him up in their first fight, and he like kneed him like in the solar plexus and just like gassed him out. But then Cejudo came back and in a 5-round decision beat DJ, which fucked up the whole DJ and TJ super fight, the 125-pound belt champ versus the 135-pound belt champ. And that was something that everybody was like really looking forward to. I would still love to see that fight happen, but now that DJ lost, I doubt it will happen. And there were talks of Cejudo fighting TJ, which I don't know, like it's not as sexy a fight to me. I don't know what it is. Like there's something about Cejudo that I kind of don't like. I don't know what it is. Like he's a really good fighter. Seems like a nice guy, but he kind of has like this like thirsty kind of I want to be a role model type of like chip on the shoulder type of thing, which is I guess not bad, but at the same time it's like it seems very fake. I don't know, there's just something about him that rubs me the wrong way. In terms of fighting though, he's obviously a great fighter and the new 125-pound champion. And there were talks. There's nothing inked as far as super fight between Cejudo and TJ Dillashaw, but I think that would be coming up. Wouldn't be surprised if it does. Something else that I would love, which I think might be like a good little twist to this whole thing, is if Dominic Cruz fights Cejudo, takes out Cejudo for the 135-pound belt, and then has a rematch with TJ Dillashaw. I'm sorry, the 125-pound belt, if he can get down to 125, which he probably can. And fights Cejudo, beats Cejudo, and then has a rematch with TJ Dillashaw, who he won the 135 belt from, which then Cody took from Dominic Cruz in an upset. That would be pretty dope. Speaking about sick fights coming up, Conor McGregor makes his UFC return after 2 years, a 2-year hiatus from fighting in the octagon, versus Khabib Nurmagomedov, which is 26 or 28-0, hasn't lost. He's the current champion in that weight class. And he's this Russian dude that his father used to tie a bear to a tree in their backyard and make him wrestle the bear. Like there's videos of it. You can YouTube it, you can see it online. I've seen it, it's fucking sick. It's like this little baby cub bear, but still, it's fucking insane. And Khabib is widely regarded at having the best wrestling in the entire UFC, any weight class division. And we all know that Conor McGregor gasses out and doesn't do too well on the ground after, as Nate Diaz showed, after, I would say, third, fourth roundish, he starts decreasing in terms of cardio. So it's a very interesting matchup, the classic striker versus wrestler type of matchup, and I'm very much so looking forward to that. That's coming up next week, Saturday, actually, October 6th. Well, by the time you guys hear this, yeah, it'll be coming up like that next Saturday after that. So definitely going to speak about that in the next episode of the Spun Today Podcast, but I'm very much so looking forward to it. I think Conor can pull it off. I think we've seen Khabib get wobbled a couple times. In the Michael Johnson fight, for example, he clipped him, he wobbled him a bit. Michael Johnson doesn't have the power that Conor has, or the precision in striking that Conor has. Who else? I think Barboza also dazed Khabib a bit, but, you know, Khabib just ran through Barboza after that. And Barboza it was thought that he would be the guy to take out Khabib for the first time because he's like very unorthodox and wild and flashy with his kicks. And people say if Barboza couldn't do it with his kicks, how is Conor going to do it with his striking? And, you know, you need more distance with kicks, which is the point that Matt Hardy made in the UFC fight breakdowns that he does. And it's true, like he couldn't get the distance, he couldn't get the space that he needed to throw his kicks. But Conor, with the striking with his hands, he doesn't need all that space. So as Khabib is driving in, Conor has a very good opportunity and skill set to catch him and put him away. So I would say if Conor has a chance of winning, it's within the first 2 rounds. If he does not finish Khabib within the first 2 rounds, it's going to be 5 rounds of Khabib mauling Conor on the ground, wearing him down, and Khabib wins by decision if it goes to 5 rounds. But I don't think Khabib will be able to finish Conor, and I think that Conor will be able to finish Khabib only if he does it within the first 2 rounds. And I'm very much looking forward to the fight. They haven't done this like world tour, which, you know, Conor is like known for, and the UFC always like makes him do. But they haven't done any of that. And, you know, Conor, you know, he's known for having a good speaking game. Like, he gets into his opponent's heads like well before the match starts. And we haven't seen a lot of that. And it's a lot of like the hype that sells the fight is those interactions. There was one press conference where the public was not allowed. It was only media. And it obviously wasn't the same, but Conor was there in Conor form, doing his thing. And historically, Conor said that he doesn't like the so much, like the whole, like the media thing, how it takes away from, you know, training and stuff like that. So I'm sure he worked that into his contract this time around, as well as the fact that this fight, and apparently like any future Conor fights moving forward, are going to be co-promoted by the UFC, which is a promotion company. People like lose sight of that. It's not like the NFL or the NBA. UFC promotes fights, co-promoted by Conor McGregor. What is it? McGregor Promotions and the UFC, and Proper 12 Whiskey, which is Conor's new whiskey line that he started. And if you noticed in the press conference, he had a bottle of the Proper 12 Whiskey on the podium there next to like the water, you know, the usual water bottle and Monster Energy drink. And he did like a cheers with Dana White, the president, and offered Khabib some, and Khabib said he doesn't drink, and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so that's interesting. That's interesting, like power move, like business move on the side of Conor. And as he said, you know, after the Mayweather fight, where he's estimated to have made over $100 million, or close to, or on or around $100 million with his purse and sponsorship and stuff like that. And the reason why and where he started McGregor Productions was with that fight. So he got a piece from that. He doesn't have to fight anymore, at least not for financial reasons. He's doing it because he, quote unquote, loves it. Either that or he's blowing all his money. So Anyway, either way, I'm looking forward to the fight. And it would be very hard to blow $100 million. But people have done it.